Well, everybody wants and needs. I think this topic will kind of lead us into very interesting insights and reflections upon life. I believe the main thing we are looking for in life is happiness, and that is for sure. But besides happiness, if we really explore happiness like deeper, because it's easy to ask anyone, what do you want? And someone says, I want to be happy. Be happy is a very general answer, right? Like, I want to be happy. I want to be rich. Like, well, what does that mean? How's that going to change your life? What kind of person you going to become when this happens? Who are you surrounded by when this happens? What are your thoughts, feelings like on a daily basis? Like, no one actually likes to go deeper that level to really understand what happiness actually means. And when we open it that way, it gives us room to reflect pretty much upon what is life about? What is happiness? Why do I want to be happy? I mean, why do you want to be happy? Because you don't like the way you live your life. You don't like the way you feel. You don't consider yourself happy to begin, and this is why you want to change your state. So if I ask you, would you rather live on a state of happiness and abundance, even though you're not living a life that kind of represents happiness and abundance, as opposed to living a life that represents happiness and abundance, but you're not really having the state? So what would you pick? Would you choose the state of happiness and abundance or the external that represents happiness and abundance? And of course, that will kind of open up to some conflict here and discussions, because it's like, oh, how can I feel in a state of abundance and happiness if I'm not living a life that is representing that? Like, the external affects how I feel, yes and no at the same time, because a lot of people don't have so much to actually feel that happiness and abundance. Like, a lot of people don't even need to have that car, that house, that boyfriend or girlfriend or that job in order to feel happy and abundance. They just always vibrate at that state of happiness and abundance, and they're able to do a lot of things in life that are not a match of it, but still has a flavor to it. Would you agree? Someone who lives in a very simple house and works at a supermarket, for example, uh, and it really has like like positive interactions with the customers. They feel like their job pays the bills. They enjoy being there, and they consider themselves happy. Like, would you say maybe this person doesn't live like the happiest life just because they live in a simple house and work at a job that doesn't pay that much? So this is what a lot of people are starting to reflect now. The external, like the amount of things you accumulate and how you choose to live, does not determine whether you will feel happy and abundant inside. I bet there are homeless people out there who feel happier and more abundant than a lot of people who have so much money, the best house, the best job, and yet feel unhappy. Now, sometimes you also have to sacrifice your happiness in order to get what you want. Maybe you have to work at a job that does not make you feel the happiest person in a lifetime, but it's giving you the money that you know you need in order to kind of move to the next step that will bring you closer to happiness. Because in one level or the other, yes, happiness is pretty much related to freedom. And how can we have freedom without having money? Like, if I want to choose where I want to live, I need the money to choose where I want to live. If I need freedom, if I need money to to choose who I want to live with, then of course, I, yeah, like there's no way for me to pursue that freedom without money because if I'm paying, like, I'm paying, right? If I want to choose who I want to live with, I must be willing to pay what it takes. So, there's a lot of controversy here, a lot of conflict of ideas, but I'm sure it's making sense to you because life is not meant to be black or white, yes or no, A or B all the time. This is the plane that you chose to leave. That's the duality plane, the mental plane or the matrix that many are still caught on for lack of a better perspective or for lack of wisdom or for lack of awakening or for lacking truth. But once you quite tap in the real, and what's the real? The real is it's you. It's everything. All that is part of your reality right now. Instead of trying to discern true, false, real, lie, real, false, truth or lie, just accept all that it is. Appreciate the imperfection of it. Doesn't need to be all beauty. Maybe there is beauty in the ugly and you just gotta work your way, your perspective around it. And when you change that relationship to things, you change your relationship with God. God, all things are not God, but all things are of God. That makes sense. So instead of me looking at a broken piece of metal and say, this is not God, I can look at it, but it's of God. It's part of the whole. So if I'm ignoring things all the time and saying, this is of God, this is not of God, I'm going to live in conflict for the rest of my life. Because I cannot control what's going to continue to show on my screen. Haven't you realized that you don't have control of what should appear on your screen? You don't have control of what you gravitate towards, in other words. You are a magnet. You will continue to gravitate towards things that are matched to you in one way or the other. So, slow down, first of all. Before you decide to go on with your to-do list, before you start to reply to all your text messages and research and Google all the things you've been, you know, wanting to do, but also repressing it because you don't know. whether that is good or that is bad or what is of God or what is not of God. Therefore, you just continue to repress, these emotions, these desires, these things you've picked on outside, and you continue to pick on without even knowing that you are picking on. Just try to slow down for now and ask yourself, really ask yourself, what do I want? And if it's really happiness, what does happiness represent to me outside my preferences? Outside, I would rather a pink car as opposed to a white one. But sure, the white one I can be okay with it for a little bit until I get the pink one. But I won't be happy until I get the pink one. Start to exclude all your preferences. Oh, I'm working for this thing right now, and yes, I would much rather working for something else, but also I'll be okay for now. But I will only be happy when I have this job. When I live in this place. I want to have this relationship. Because many people live this pattern of thinking, of feeling for their whole life. And they don't know how to break free from it. I'm sure if there was a formula to do so, if a guru or a doctor or a priest came up with a formula to teach people how to break free from this pattern that I've just mentioned, we would all want to go get it, right? And our lives would be changed forever. Can you imagine what would life feel like if you were just totally okay with whatever it is? If you were not reacting about the things that happen. Oh, I lost $1. I lost $10. I did this. I did that. Really? If you continue to count and measure everything that's happening in your life, I don't know, maybe you should just work on measuring the positive things. Sure, the negative will happen, but can't you appreciate the size of the ocean? The fact that you can't even really count how many skies are up in the sky and how much water is in the ocean, how much nature is, how many free parks are available. If you are gonna be blaming yourself and counting on the things you lose in the material plane, then let's make a deal. Please start measuring up and counting up also the amount of abundance, blessings that are available, all the resources that are available that you don't have to pay for. That you know it's there. Just because you don't use it, that's not my fault. And if you don't use it, that is also something to do with your state of being unease. What does that mean to be unease? Not satisfied. Nothing is ever enough. I'm never enough. Until I get the hair, until I get that body, until I get that thing right. The whole purpose of improving one's life is to expand on the amount of happiness and satisfaction that one can feel. Sure, I'm not saying stop simply working on yourself and improving in X area. But I'm just saying you gotta learn how to appreciate what you are, what you have now, before you get on the game of wanting to change yourself, wanting to improve, wanting to transform. Simply because you are missing the point. If you are caught up on this negative path of spirituality that is all about being better, being bigger, being more. When in reality, it's about being. It's not about being more. It's simply about being who you are. even if you're the messiest, even if you're the most disorganized, even if you're the most critical, even if you're weak in front of others, even if you feel like the energy affects you so deeply that it's almost like you disappear. Appreciate that too. You know, you will get there. Appreciate everything who allows you the opportunity to grow with your faith, to grow with your strength, with your ability to resist, control, or surrender in any situation. Only then we can literally get into this game of getting better, growing, improving from a place of happiness, abundance, acceptance. If not abundance, at least, my friend, acceptance. That's a good place to start.